Hello again. This is Fake Love episode 2. We are again with semantics, meaning green means go, red means stop, yellow not really sure. Let's move on and talk about hyponomy. Hyponomy is a way that we categorize words in our head. So if I say I'm going to go get a cup of coffee, you could think, what kind of coffee? What kind of coffee are you going to have? If it's 12 o'clock at midnight, why would I have coffee, right? Would I have decaf? Would I have regular? Would I have Starbucks? Would I have Dutch Bros, which is really popular here in Arizona? Would I have Caribou or, right? So the hypernym there would be coffee. And then underneath would be hyponyms. So let's say this up here would be coffee, and then down here, that's a hypernym, coffee, and then hyponyms would be Starbucks. You could do decaf and regular, you could do Starbucks. You could even list off a bunch of Starbucks drinks. Frappuccino and cappuccino and venti and tall, grande, okay? And all of those would be sister terms. So if you look at animal here, we have a sheep and a horse. And of course, you would have a bunch more, right? But these are just 2 examples. Animal is the hypernym. Underneath animal would be a hyponym, and sheep and horse are sister terms. And then underneath that, sheep could become a hypernym, and you look at what kinds of sheep. An ewe, is that how you say it? Or a ram. Or for horse, mare, stallion. So it's just the way we organize it in our brains. And then we have the synonyms, the antonyms, the converses, okay? So here we have love. I'm thinking about fake love, of course, because that's what this episode is about as well. So we have fake or real, or, so that could go with love, or you could go to what kinds of love, brotherly, siblingly, I guess would be better. Brother, sister, 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 brother, brother, right? Or it could be parent-child, or it could be love of a couple, or it could be friendship, or what have you. And so these here are sister terms because they're like on the same level. And then underneath that, like this would be the hypernym, but I can even say brotherly is a hyponym of love, but a hypernym of these 3. Brother, sister, 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 brother, brother. Okay? So that's hyponomy. Some people might find it easier to do that like in an outline form, vertical versus horizontal, or it just depends on how your brain works and how you organize your thoughts, okay? So here's another idea of hyponomy where you have circles and some properties are overlapping in certain areas, right? Okay. Okay. Proposition, truth value, truth conditions, and entailment. This is a little difficult to get, but let's talk about it. I don't think it's that hard, but it might be good for me to explain it to you. So proposition is the claim expressed by a sentence. My toothbrush got pregnant again. It's grammatically correct. Does it make any sense? So that's the claim. That's the proposition. What's the truth value of that proposition? Duh. Toothbrushes don't get pregnant, right? So it could be true or false. It's false, right? Truth conditions. So what conditions need to be there for it to be true? Well, Maybe toothbrush is a nickname for my dog. My dog got pregnant again. Other than that, yeah. And then we have entailment, a relationship that applies between two sentences, propositions, where the truth of one implies the truth of the other because of the meaning of the words involved. So one implies truth of the other, right? One truth implies the other truth. So if I say toothbrush means dog, or that's the name of my dog, then the entailment would be this is true, therefore that's true, right? So my toothbrush got pregnant again. She's due in February, right? If you say, wait, what? Your toothbrush? And you have in your mind this reference of something you brush your teeth with, then that truth value is false. Therefore, the other sentence has to be false. So that's what that is. Okay. Here we have compositionality, the principle. The meaning of a sentence is a function of the meanings of the words it contains and the way that they are syntactically combined. Syntax, huh? The meaning of multi-word expressions are compositional. So if I said started from the bottom, and maybe you heard that song. Now we hear. I started from the bottom. Does that mean I started from the basement and went up? Not really. The compositional meaning is another one, right? So if you're talking to a non-native speaker and you say I started from the bottom, they're going to be like, okay, what does that really mean? They're not going to get it. Yeah. We use this all the time. Yeah. Lexical versus compositional. Started from the bottom, the blinds are drawn. Okay. Here we have, we're like a cult with better Kool-Aid. To die for. This is to die for. That is a compositional phrase which means what? You're gonna die? Literally, as people would say, literally? No. And the Kool-Aid is a reference to people drinking Kool-Aid and dying. However, this is supposed to be kind of funny. Do you find it funny? I guess the restaurant's name is Hacienda, and they're trying to get people to buy their margaritas. Yeah, so here we have advertising again. And we have to die for. So if I'm not an English speaker and I try to translate this, it doesn't make sense. You'd be like, I would never drink that margarita. Adjective-noun combinations, what makes sense? So here's where I'm thinking about fake news. Because news used to be considered objective and not fake. It was always you're just reporting about something that happened, right? But now we have fake news. It's almost an oxymoron, isn't it? For some of us, maybe. Okay, pure intersection or intersective. Two sets can be identified independently. So this entails reference, right? So if I say fake news, but there's no reference to fake news, what would the reference be to fake news now? I'm sure everybody's got a reference for fake news. Yeah. Then you have, so that would be a pure intersection, but if you go back to the Future, and think about in the 1950s, what would that there would be no reference, because nobody would know what you're talking about. Just like if you go to another country, there might not be a reference for that. You might have to figure out how to say it a different way, right? Relative intersection is subjective. So a tall giraffe is, what's a short giraffe? A baby. Then you have non-intersection, which are other adjectives such as alleged, possible, which don't really intersect with the other part of what you're talking about because of their meaning. It's possible. It's alleged. No. And anti-intersection cannot overlap with the noun's reference when I mentioned the fake news. So pure intersection versus non-intersection versus anti-intersection. Yeah. It's more like philosophy than anything. But if you think about, okay, if this word has this meaning, then how would I explain it another way? So what if I say a short giraffe? That's kind of weird. Giraffes are usually a giraffe with a short neck. What? Okay. Fake love. They look up to me. Look up. What does look up mean? Any song that you hear now, you're going to have so many phrases that if you take each word individually with the lexical semantics, it will mean one thing, but it doesn't mean that. No. And if you have, let's go back to those adjective-noun combination, what's making sense here? Does fake love make sense? Is it a pure intersection? Is it a relative intersection? I think it's subjective, right? Is it a non-intersection? Anti-intersection? So think about that. Have a good day.